This is my ThinkPad T580. I've worked on it for months, I've undervolted it, I've upgraded a lot of the parts inside of it, and I know it from inside out. Now, the first thing I noticed when I took the laptop out of its box, I realized how delicate it is. It feels so different from every other laptop that I've felt in my entire life. Even this MacBook Pro, it feels so different from that. The first thing I noticed was how abnormally thin it is, and also how metal it is, I guess. And I was looking at it and seeing just the little seams there, and just how flippin' thin the thing is. It's just kind of weird to look at. What the heck? What is that design? There's no holes in it. It's like Apple designed, probably designed to break. And as I was setting it up for the first time, I also felt the trackpad and the keyboard. Now, the keyboard is very, very short travel, but it's also extremely tactile for how short travel it is. The trackpad on these newer MacBooks is also extremely interesting because, first of all, they are huge. Look at the size of the MacBook trackpad compared to the iPhone 5. Do a little size comparison. Look at that. It's bigger. It's bigger than the iPhone 6s. Like, this is a 15-inch MacBook Air. The trackpad is huge. Samsung Galaxy is a bit wider. Trackpad's still taller. Like, that is crazy. Now, the palm rejection on the trackpad of this size is better than you might think. Like, look at this trackpad, or I'm gonna check palm rejection. Like, it's all right. Oh, it moved a little bit. Oh, uh-oh. Nah, whatever. And the second thing that's super interesting about this trackpad is that it doesn't even click. Like, it sounds like it clicks, and you can see it visually going down, but it doesn't click in the way that you would normally expect. It has a motor that vibrates, and it's pretty weird. Oh yeah, also the second interesting thing about this trackpad is that it clicks a second time when you press down, and that enables the trackpad to do different things. Like, when I deep click, I'm gonna call it deep click. When I do that to this audio file, it opens it. I just do like a deep click. It sort of does different things. I'm not used to it yet, but it's pretty interesting. I also made the background black on this laptop, and I usually make the background black on all of my laptops. Like, as you can see on this video, when I was holding up my ThinkPad T580, the desktop background was black. Even on my Windows 7 laptop, the background's black. Well, I think that may just be because Windows 7 does that when it's not activated, but I would have done that anyway. Now, the notch in the newer MacBooks, it's really not that much of a problem as long as you're properly hiding it. Sometimes if you're using professional applications like DaVinci Resolve, you can see that the place where it says file, edit, trim, timeline, and all that stuff, there are so many of these little status bar options that it actually crosses over the notch with workspace and help. Also, within that notch houses an entire 12 megapixel camera, but I haven't really found a way to take a photo using the full 12 megapixels. I'm not sure how you would do that, and I'm not even sure it's possible. The camera on this laptop is so freaking weird. Oh my god, it's so wide, you can see everything. There's these different presets here, look at this. The weird thing is that there's no highest resolution. The closest thing to that is this one, 1552 by 1552. I'm gonna put my eyes where the edge is, set it to the vertical. You can see that, yeah, there's still a little bit more height to get from the camera. There's this application on macOS called Desk View, and you can see that the corners are sort of blurred out. Oh yeah, you can see the rest of my room here. And I think that's because the camera sensor itself in the MacBook is too big for the lens that's directly in front of it. But now I want to talk about the speakers in this laptop. Now, since this is a 15-inch MacBook Air, it does have the upgraded 6-speaker setup. I don't really know how that works. It's got an upgraded speaker setup inside of this thin little thing. MacBook wins. Look how thin this thing is compared to this big old chunky thing. How? Now I want to get into the slight issues that I've been having with this laptop. And basically the first issue is ports. There are really barely any ports on this laptop. So not too long after I got this laptop, I ended up getting this. This cost me like 120 bucks. And you can see it adds a heck of a lot more of a port selection to the MacBook. The second con with this laptop is just macOS in general. Like macOS should have certain options built into the settings that are not in the settings that you can only get through third-party apps. Now I like to scroll like this. This is how I like to scroll. I know it's upside down in the US, so yeah, check natural scrolling in the settings. But then if you connect an external mouse to this thing, then the scrolling is completely backwards from how you'd want it. Because this natural scrolling option controls both trackpad and mouse. So every time you switch from trackpad to mouse, you have to come here into settings and change this option. But in order to not have that issue, you need this application called Linear Mouse, and that enables you to change settings at a mouse specific level. And also, since the M5 processor in this thing is just so naturally fast, I always just put it on power saver mode because I never really need the full power of the thing. It is faster in some ways than my desktop, which is crazy. The thing about my desktop, I don't even use the full power of my desktop. 99% of the time doesn't allow that. And this laptop can pretty much handle my entire editing workflow, in theory, which is crazy. This is on power saver mode right now, and you can just see how smooth it is scrolling, how many frames you're seeing per second of the video as I scroll this. There are some scenarios, like in Blender, in more complex scenes, where you do notice that the GPU is a little bit slower in power saver mode. Nothing that makes it unusable. Like, it's still very good. There's also another weird thing that happens when I'm trying to edit my videos that happens on macOS, and I haven't found a way to change this weird thing yet, but take a look at this mouse cursor here. I'm gonna change this. And notice when I try to swipe away, the mouse cursor sort of sticks for a split second. And I haven't really found a way to change that. Also, probably the biggest issue with this MacBook is the repairability. The MacBook Air is not repairable at all, or upgradable, so it's kind of stuck with what it has, which is kind of the big downside of Apple products. But I've had pretty good luck with Apple products in general, so I'm not that worried. Alright, so the worst part about being a complete geek and owning a MacBook is that sometimes you want to know what your system's doing, but the built-in applications don't really show that. So I installed this application called Stats, and now you can see the CPU activity, RAM activity, SSD activity, network activity, and also another battery here. A lot more stats about the battery, about what's going on with it. It also shows you the wattage, and it also shows you the true remaining health of the battery. This goes up and down all the time. Even though battery health here says it's still at 100, it kind of lies a little bit. Also, if you go into the CPU menu, you can see all the usage history. You can see the general activity and the load and all that stuff and the frequencies. I also noticed that the speakers in this MacBook is a little bit bass heavy, so I installed this program called EQ Mac, which basically allows you to EQ the audio of the speakers to your liking. And both of these programs are completely free. You may also notice that this MacBook is due for a cleaning, and usually I clean the laptops that I use most once every 2 weeks or so. And this is starting to get there. But the last time I cleaned this MacBook, I actually filmed it, and there was a slight issue. Alright. Turn it off just so that I can clean the thing. Oh no, don't. Shut down. Please stay off, please. See, watch this. Gotta clean it quick. First cleaning of, well, this laptop. Nice and clean. Now, after all that I've talked about this MacBook, you may be thinking, what about the ThinkPad? Like, what am I gonna do with this ThinkPad? Well, this MacBook will not 100% completely replace my ThinkPad, because, well, it doesn't run Windows. But this ThinkPad will still be replaced. Stay tuned.